Hello and thank you for coming to my garage. This is Rick's Garage and today we're doing a continuation of the build of the Willys Jeep from iXO Collections. Pack 20, stages 96 to 100. Now I've put a link in the descriptions and a QR code on screen that will take you right on over to iXO Collections if you'd like to get this for yourself. But without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, we want our trailer to be in this position here. This is the back end of the trailer. Over here is the front end. And we want to take this part right here with this large part here facing the rear of the truck or the rear of the trailer. We're going to go in just like that. Then we're going to take a HM screw and this is going to go just right through the top. You're not going to screw it in at all. It's just going to go right in just like that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Take that right there, get an HM screw, and then put that right through the hole just like that. Okay, now the instructions say do not tighten these screws down, but as you can see, this just fits right in there. The screws just fit right through those holes. There's no way to tighten them down, so the instructions are misleading. It's not that you don't want to tighten them, you just want to place the screw through the hole, just like that. Then we're going to take our axle, which is all metal, we're going to fit that underneath the leaf springs, and then we're going to then secure these in using this screw here and tighten it down to secure the axle to the leaf springs. So I'm going to position my axle right underneath there, trying to line up that screw to the hole and then screw that in just a little bit, just kind of hold it in, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Line it up so that I can get that screw into the hole. Now that took a little bit of doing because on this side here the screw did not line up centered to that screw hole onto the axle, so that was a little bit of a problem trying to get that screw in. So now I'm going to tighten this up, get that axle nice and secure on that side, and do the same thing on this side over here. And this side's going to be a little bit of a problem because that screw is really not centered into that hole. Okay, that took some time and effort to get this in nice and tight. This I just remove the screw a couple of times, back it out a little bit, put it back in again multiple times in order to get that screw to go all the way in to make this all nice and tight, but we got that in. Okay, next we want to take our leaf spring clips, and there's 4 of these, and you want to put them underneath the axle like this, and these 2 ends are going to go through these 2 holes here. We're going to put one on this side, one on that side, and we'll do the same thing on the other side of the trailer as well. And these just kind of snap right into place. I'm going to try to make it so that these ends push all the way through the hole. Just like that. We'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll take our clip, push it over this way. I'm going to try to do it at an angle. You want to put the clip a little bit at an angle so that these ends line up with the holes, which is a little fiddly to do. Okay, there we go. Push it through and try to get them as far through those holes as you can. Just like that. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, they're not the easiest thing in the world to get in, but I got them in. On that side and over here on this side. Okay, next what we want to do is we want to take our spring. I'm going to put it into the shock sleeve like that. I'm going to take our piston, which is metal, looking like this way around. Put our sleeve through that and then line it up to the hole over here and secure that in with a YM screw. Okay, there's that in, and it is a little tricky because there is tension because of that spring, but you just got to be patient with it to line the hole up correctly. for the screw, and then once that's in, it should look just like that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, we're going to take our spring, put our spring in, take our piston, put it in just like that. I want to make sure that this notch is facing over here, so it fits in just like that, and then we're going to secure it in with a YM screw. Now that went in a little bit easier than the other one did. So if you line that up just like so, get that screw in, and we'll tighten it up. And then we got our two shocks in, just like that. Okay, next we take our brake discs looking like this. The detail part goes toward the inside of the trailer. I'm going to put it in just like this, all the way through. Do the same thing on the other side. And that's how they look on that side. And that's how they look on the other side. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, in stage 97, this is going to be really super quick. We're just going to put on these wheel wells, and they are made out of plastic. And I've looked pretty carefully at this, and there doesn't seem to be a right or a left printed anywhere on these pieces. So these are both exactly the same, no different. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach them to this hole here, here, and here, just like that. And we're going to secure those in with 3 DM screws. So now I'm going to start off with the bottom one. So I got my screw already pre-threaded through the hole of the wheel well, going into that hole right there. And I'm going to, which is going to help me align this up. There we go. I'm going to put it in kind of loose, just enough to hold it in. And then that will allow me to at least get the other 2 screws in, and then I'll tighten them up. Here's the last one going in, and I'm going to just tighten these up. And there's the wheel well installed on that side. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And there's our 2 wheel wells attached on that side and on that side. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, in this stage, actually in the next 2 stages, this stage and the next stage, we're going to be constructing the wheels and the tire for the trailer. And the way we're going to do it is going to be exactly the same for both. So I'm going to show one on screen, and then I'm going to then construct the second one off camera and show you the end result. So we're going to take our tire and we're going to place it in some hot water that I've already got right here. I'm going to let that soak for about 1 minute. Okay, then that's been about a minute. Shake that off with the excess water there. Kind of dry it off a little bit. Put the water aside. Right over there. And the same as we did on the Jeep and on the spare tire, we'll take this rim, place it down into there like so, turn the tire over, match these lug holes here with the lug holes that we see down there. So just like this. Push that in like so they match up to those holes, and then take 4 DM screws and secure that in. Now, did I say DM? I meant BM screws. We're using BM screws to secure these in. Get the second one in here like so. All nice and tight. Get the second one, or the third one. Dip that in a little bit of oil. And I'll just go around the tire here, making sure that all of the screws are nice and tight. And that's 4. And there you go. Okay, next we're going to take our brake drum, which is plastic. These 2 screw holes here go into the 2 screw holes right there. Line those up and secure those 2 in with CM screws. So I'm going to put that one in like so. Take another screw here, dip that into oil, put that in, Make sure that they're all nice and tight. Okay, that's all in. That's your brake disc in. Whoop. Okay, now we bring our trailer over like so. We take our wheel looking like this. We attach it onto that axle like so. Then we take our washer looking like that. Put that in there like that. And then we take an OM screw and secure that in. And an OM screw is a flange screw. And we dip that into oil and secure that in. And you want to make that nice and tight so there is no wheel wobble. But the wheel can still turn like that. And then we take our hubcap, which is a little bit different than what we've been using, and we are going to address this in just a little bit. We take that, which is a push to fit. It goes on just like that. Make sure it kind of goes on evenly. And then we take our hubcap second part looking like this, which is also a push to fit. That goes right into that hole right there. Nice and straight. Push that right on in. And there's our wheel. Okay, now there are two wheels are on our trailer. Bring our trailer over. Turn it up on upside right. And there is our trailer, which rolls back and forth like it should. And we do have our stand here, so we can move this stand down and it can stand up just like that. Okay, now we do have these parts that we have to address. And this is kind of an issue for me. When they ask you to remove something that you've already attached. I'm going to move our trailer over here for a moment. We're going to have to take these same hubcaps that we just put onto the trailer. We're going to have to put those onto the Jeep. And that means we're going to have to remove the rear hubcaps that we have on the Jeep and replace them with these. Now personally, I don't see anything wrong with the hubcaps that we have on the Jeep already. So this is the hubcap that we have to remove, and hopefully you didn't glue yours in, so this should actually just easily be removed by just kind of moving it back and forth a little bit until it kind of pops off, there, just like that. Then we take this part like we just did for the trailer, push that on like so, get that all pushed on nice and flush to the wheel like that. And then we take our top cap like we did for the trailer, put that in just like that, making sure it's a nice and straight and flush, and then you got your cap on. I'll do the same thing to the other side. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to keep this cap that we originally put on because the person that I'm giving this to may like this one better. It kind of matches what we have in the front. In fact, it matches it exactly what we have in the front. So I'm not sure why they're asking us to make that change, but that's what's in the instructions. So I'm going to follow the instructions, but I am going to hold on to this because the person I'm giving it to may want their front and rear wheels to look exactly the same. After I filmed this segment, I searched for some photos of the Jeep and found that indeed the rear hubcaps are different from the front. In fact, the new ones that we just attached are identical to the photos that I found. Perhaps this was a mistake that iXO discovered and we're correcting it. I don't know. Though the new hubcaps that we attached match these photos, I'm still going to hold on to the older ones just in case. But that completes stages 98 and 99. Okay, now in stage 100, I've been kind of dreading this only because we're going to have to, or I'm going to have to, learn how to figure out how to make those knots that they want us to use to attach the tarp on top of the trailer. And that's not going to be easy because the instructions are not very clear at all on the step-by-step instructions. So let's see if we can figure this out. Okay, now according to the instructions, we have our top, our canvas, laying down flat like this, but we want it to be turned upside down like this. where you have the seams on the outside or facing you. Then you take your strings that they provide for you, looking like this, and you loop it like so. So far, so good. Easy. And we're going to thread that through the hole here, which is going to be a little bit of a tight fit. And I am going to need my magnifying glasses for this. See if I can't thread that through. And there's just not enough room really to thread that through. Okay, I got one in the hole here, as you can see, and this is exactly how they have it in the instructions. You'll notice in the instructions that your seam is upright like this, and you have your contrast stitching along the top. So this is your top, and this is your back. And you want the loop to be on the back, and you want these two ends to be on the top. So mine looks exactly like the instructions. Now there's no way to thread these lines in one line at a time. There's not enough room in that hole. The hole is not big enough. And the hole is not big enough also if you wanted to pinch the end here at the loop and pinch that loop and try to put that through the hole, it's not going to work. So the way I did it, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, put this aside. So I took their string, and by the way, this string is a little bit of an elastic. It kind of tugs like a rubber band. Or stretches like a rubber band. So I took some sewing string, just everyday type sewing string, like this, and I tied it where I made a loop. Just did one loop like that. And then I put the end of their string through that, and I tied it on, just like that. I didn't tie it into a knot, I just tied it. Okay, then I'm going to come over here, I'm going to take our string, like so. I'm going to thread it through the hole where I want it to go, like so, like that, and just pull on it, and then just tug it through. And it should come right through, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to adjust my line here to where it's the loop and the lines here are even, like so. Pull that through, and then I'm just going to untie my string, and there I have it. And that's how I got that in. And I'm going to do that all around the sides, just the sides. I'm not going to do it on the corners. The way we do the corners is going to be just slightly a little bit different. It should be a lot easier to do the corners. But that's how I'm going to do the sides. Okay, now once you've got all your tie downs strung through the holes of your canvas, this is how it should look when it's done. And I don't have one over here because I've already got it tied down securely to this hook. And I'll show you how I did that a little bit later. But I wanted to show you how your canvas should look once you have your side tie downs attached. And you'll see that the hooks or the loops are on the back side here, right underneath. Okay, now when you put your tarp on, your canvas on, you want to temporarily attach your lines to these hooks on all your sides so you can get this basically on your trailer so it doesn't move around. And you could put it on a little bit tight, but you don't want to put it too tight because you're going to want to adjust this as you go along. So on all your sides, you want these to be attached to your hooks on the side of your trailer. Now here on the side, I've already got mine tied down, and these ends I just have tucked underneath the canvas. So I'm going to try to show you exactly how I made this knot to look as close to the instructions as possible. Okay, once we have our hoop underneath our hook, we're going to take our this line here and thread it through the hoop like that. Do the same thing on the other side. And pull that down. There we go. And then I'm going to take this line here and loop loop it underneath itself like this. I'm going to take this line here, do the same thing underneath this line right here. Pull those tight like so. Then I'm going to take my line and tuck it underneath the canvas. One like that, and the other side just like this. And that's how I'm going to do my hooks, or my lines. Bring this down like so. Let me show you the front. And that's how I'm going to tie my side hooks into place. Let's see if we can do that one more time. Okay, just so you know how I'm doing this, I'm doing the side. So I did this side first, then I did this side. Now I'm going to do this hook here, and then I'll do this hook over here. So I'm trying to keep my canvas as centered on the trailer as possible. Okay, just as before, we take this line here and we put it through our hoop, just like that. Take this line over here, do the same thing. A bit kind of more difficult because we got the wheel well in our way. Okay, so now we are looking at essentially step number 1 of this process. All right, now the instructions, again, I can't emphasize this more, are just not very clear. I went to iXO, I asked them for some help, and the only thing that they did was resend the pictures of the instructions. Really didn't give me any type of step-by-step like I'm trying to give to you. All that said, I have no idea if I'm really doing this right or wrong. I'm just doing it as best as I possibly can based on what I see in the pictures. If you have a better process, if you have the actual solution, I would be more than happy to see that. But this is how I'm doing mine, whether it's right or wrong. Okay, so now I'm going to take this loop here, or this line here. I'm going to loop it underneath this line there, basically underneath itself. I'm going to do the same thing with this. Loop it underneath this line here, which is the same rope. And then grab that, if I can. There we go. Then pull these taut. I really shouldn't say tight because I'm not really doing this tight. But if you hold on to this area here and then pull, you kind of sort of like get a more of a taut or tight fit on your line there. Okay. I don't want mine tight. I don't want it extremely tight. I don't want to put a lot of tension on these rubber lines. In time, they're going to probably decay, rot away, but that's years and years down the line. But I personally don't want to have a lot of tension on that. So then I'm going to take this line here. I'm going to just stick it underneath the canvas as best I can. And there you have that. So I'm going to go ahead and do all the rest of them now. Now, if your lines are not staying underneath the canvas by tucking them in under this way, then take your line, pull up a little bit, and then stick it through the center like this. And feed that through. And then let the tension of the line keep that in place. And put this one through as well. And it still makes for a nice little knot. Okay, now your corner pieces are pretty simple to do. All it requires is just basically a slip knot underneath. And then once you get your slip knot done, tuck it underneath the canvas, take this loop here, and then loop it underneath your hook underneath, just like so. Then just kind of position it the way you want it. There's your corner hook. So let me show you how I tied that knot. Okay, first you want to take your line, you want to thread it through from the top, through the hole, and thread it over here. Make your ends as even as possible. And then you're going to tie it in a left over right and right over left fashion. Take your left, cross it over the right, and loop that through. Like that. Then take your right, loop it over the left, and then tie that on like that. So you have that type of a knot. Now this is going to allow you to make that knot bigger, or that loop bigger or smaller, depending upon how much tension you want. So put your lines in underneath the canvas, pull this down, and you're done. Now that actually came out a little bit more loose than I want. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that and tighten this up. And then once I got it a little bit more tight, tighten that knot, put all that back in, bring this down, hook it underneath the hook there, and I've got my corner tie down in place. Okay, I brought the trailer out so you can take a look at it at a 360-degree view. We've got the canvas on top of the trailer. All of our tie downs are in place, and this actually completes the stage, and it also completes this pack. Now when you put the trailer and you hook it up to the Jeep, you'll have about maybe a 30 or 31 inch model weighing in a little over 10 pounds. But we also have to get done with the anti-tank gun, which we're going to be starting in the next pack. Now I put a link in the descriptions and a QR code on screen that will take you right over to iXO Collections if you want to get this for yourself. I really hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. Other than that, always have fun in your garage, your workshop, or wherever it is that you build your models. And until next time, thanks for watching.